Hi guys, I'm Jake, welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to tell you all about why I love my Kindle. There's three key reasons. 1, it makes reading super easy, practical and convenient. 2, it brings the age-old art of reading into the 21st century. And 3rd, you can have an entire library at your fingertips. It's amazing. Let's get into it. So, convenience. One great way that the Kindle is convenient is when you're in bed. So if you imagine you're in bed, you've got your hands full with a paperback, it's a little bit awkward to hold in one hand. You don't have any of those problems with a Kindle. You can lie on your side and hold it with one hand. It's super light, it's easy to hold, it's nice, it's manageable. It's also convenient if you're travelling on the tube or the train. Let's say you have to give your seat up for somebody. You can stand up. You don't need to worry about holding a book in one hand and fiddling with the pages and stuff while you're holding onto a tube pole. Instead, you can just hold the Kindle in one hand, tap it to change the page. Really simple. Then it's great if you're outside. Let's say I'm by the beach, I'm on holiday, I wish. You don't need to worry about getting the book wet or getting sand all in the pages or the wind blowing the pages around. You don't need to worry about any of that, especially if you've got one of the newer models of the Kindle Paperwhite, which is actually waterproof. And so having a waterproof Kindle is great because it means that you can read it in the bath. You don't need to worry about getting the pages wet or splashing them. Nobody likes a wet book. And then another way that I find my Kindle super convenient is that I can just drop it into my bag. I don't need to cram a book in there or anything like that and worry about getting the pages frayed. I can just drop my Kindle in and off I go. To summarise why it's so convenient, I think it's great because it's small, it's light and it's not paper, which obviously helps. Another reason I love my Kindle is because it brings a lot of modern technology into the age-old art of reading. Reading is amazing, it's perfect as it is, but there are some ways where you can make it a bit more practical, a bit more accessible. So first up is the backlight. It's an absolute game changer. Being able to read at night in bed and not have a big light on is amazing. If you're on an overnight train or if you're on an overnight plane, the lights are down, you don't want to be that annoying person turning the light on and waking everybody up. You know, the Kindle has a backlight. It's super soft, so it's not too strong on your eyes. It's not anything like holding a smartphone in bed. Another great thing is that I can adapt the reading experience to however I like it as well. So if my eyes are feeling a little bit strained, I can increase the font size. And then the font itself, I currently use a font called Open Dyslexic. I'm not a dyslexic, but it does make the overall reading experience a little bit easier, less strain on your eyes, easier to track the words on the page, so it's just a bit nicer. I can then change the experience so that I'm reading white text on a black background. So it's just another way to reduce eye strain and make the overall reading experience a little bit easier on your eyes. And then what's more is this Kindle is basically like my little mini reading computer. So I can highlight things, I can take notes, and they all sync to my Goodreads account, which I'll touch on in a second. It tells me how long I've got left in a chapter or how long I've got left in the book by predicting my reading speed, which most of the time is great, sometimes not so great because I don't read as fast as I wish I did. Now obviously, these things aren't going to completely overhaul the way that you read, but for me, they're just little convenient things. They make the overall experience a little bit nicer and a little bit more pleasant and a little bit more convenient. Will these different factors completely overhaul your experience of reading? No, probably not. But for me, they do make it a little bit more convenient, a little bit more practical, and it's nice to be able to customize little bits and bobs to make the reading experience perfect for me. And then last but by no means least, I think the best benefit of having a Kindle is that you've got an entire library at your fingertips, which is genuinely an amazing benefit. Just think, the next 20 books that you want to read, they're all in one place. So you can jump from one to another, you can check your progress across all of them. It makes it a lot easier to read 2 books at once. And by having them all in one place, you don't need to have them all taking up room on a bookshelf. Obviously books look great. A book is a beautiful object. They look cool. I've got books behind me, I've got books on a bookshelf. They're a nice decoration, but they do take up space, whereas having a Kindle is great because you can fill it up with as many books as you want, within reason of course, and they don't get in the way of your everyday life. When you're reading on your Kindle Paperwhite, the progress of how far you've read in the book will then sync across all of your different devices that you've got the Kindle app on, so whether that's your iPad or your iPhone or your Mac. Really helpful. If you run out of battery, you can just whip out your phone and carry on reading where you left off. Probably the thing I take for granted the most, and I'm sure a lot of people do when they've got a Kindle, is that I can think of pretty much any book within reason and summon it onto my Kindle within seconds. It's absolutely amazing. If somebody recommends me a book, I don't need to worry about ordering it online or waiting for my friend to give it to me or go to the local bookshop. I can just have it in my hands instantly. I can download it off the internet and it's there ready to go. And then on the subject of downloading books, the thing with Kindle books is they're pretty cheap. Compared to a paperback or compared to a hardcover, they're way cheaper. And that means that over time, you're actually going to make your money back on the Kindle just from downloading Kindle books. And then finally, what's great is you can link your Kindle to your Goodreads account where you can see your progress on your own books, you can share it with others, you can comment on people's reviews. It's great and it syncs automatically if you've got your Kindle connected to the internet. And so there you have it. They're the 3 reasons that I love my Kindle. It's super convenient, It brings loads of cool tech into the art of reading. And finally, you've got a whole library of books at your fingertips. Now, you might have got to this part of the video and you're thinking, Jake, I get it, but I still prefer books. And that's fine, because a Kindle isn't there to replace books. You know, nothing can replace the feeling of getting to the end of a book, slamming the cover shut and thinking, yes, another one in the bag. The smell of the pages, going to a bookshop and looking at all the amazing covers and the artwork, you know, you can't replace that. But a Kindle is super convenient. It brings loads of cool tech into the experience of reading, which makes it a little bit more convenient and a little bit more practical for me. And in the long run, it'll work out cheaper than buying paperback. And so that's why I love my Kindle. I think it's amazing. Why have you not got a Kindle yet, if so? And if you have got one, why do you love it? Let me know in the comments below. Other than that, thanks guys. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.